Hello and welcome back. We're just going to bring this to a stop just around the corner here, just past the 00 station, and we'll have a look at the box for the RS.2 set that we're going to have a look at. So if we stop that there, otherwise we're going to run straight into the box. As I think you may have spotted, I've got the items out on the railway already. Let's see if we can pop the controls down somewhere there. We'll have a quick look at the items. So standing in the station here, we've got these great sort of 9-inch maroon coaches. I know we've got the Princess Royal R258, so fairly play-worn one. There's a slight split in it. We'll have a closer look at that in a moment. Let's look at the box and we can get that out of the way, and we can put the TC Pacific back in the siding, and we'll get the Princess Royal underway. So here's how it looked in 61. This is a 61 catalogue, and I think this set was only available sort of 60, 61 from what I read. And in this incarnation, the model has, although it doesn't show it here, mine's got see-through wheels on it. Earlier models had solid wheels and plain valve gear, but we do have the smoke in this particular edition here. So where have we got the set here? So we've got RS.2 Express Passenger Train Set with smoke. So as you can see on the corner of the box lid there, it's got magnet adhesion and smoke, so it's got the see-through wheels at this point. So a wonderful picture there. I know we've seen this one before, but it's always worth just a quick look over it. Some terrific items hiding within that picture perhaps. Let's pop this away. So the box lid's all fairly battered. I mean, the whole train set is fairly used. Let's just have a quick look. On the side there, it's been mended with staples and quite a lot of tape, and I think the corners on the inside have been mended prior to it coming to me. So this is the condition. I've had this for several years, so there's rather a lot of tape on there. It's been sort of put back together, but inside of the box is perhaps more original. See, it's sustained a little bit of damage over the years. It is very soft cardboard. We've got this gorgeous little sticker here, piece of tape with RS.2 train set in it there, and then we've got the apertures there for the coaches. If you have a quick look at the insert picture there, you can see how it looks with the contents of the set in place. So Series 3 track, and this track's in fairly poor condition. Now there was no power clip in it when it came to me, so I don't know whether this would have been sold with a power clip or whether you were expected to provide your own in this track here. Fairly poor. Although this rail's cleaned up quite nicely. So yeah, you would have had to sort yourself out with a controller anyway, so maybe they didn't give you the power clip. I don't know. Let's have a look at we'll just have a look at the contents of the set, perhaps, whilst we're at it. What have we got here? So RS.2, R258 for the Princess Royal, R34 tender. We've got 2 composite coaches, R321, a brake R320. Yeah, power connecting clip. Yeah, so I'm short of one. We've got power connecting clip, 5 R190 straight tracks, 12 small radius, R193. Forgive me if I'm reading this incorrectly. I'm changing focal distance between the back of the camera and the catalogue here. Uncoupling track R198, forming an oval of 43 inches by 36, or just over a metre by just under a metre. Looks to be there. So yeah, you would have had to made your own arrangements for power, I think. So let's just pop that down there. We'll get this on there. I'll see if I can just put that into a place of safety under there, all a bit on top of each other. So I've got the point set, so that'll come around into this station here, and then we'll be able to get the Princess Royal out onto the inner line. So let's just pan back around there, apply a little bit of power. These blue coaches have the metal bogies. They do make quite a racket on the rails. A gentle stop about there. That should have the back end in. Yeah, I think we're in far enough not to have to worry about that. So we'll switch over the points here. We'll go straight with that one. And let's give that some power. So it's a much smoother sort of thing. We still have open axle boxes, but no metal bogies. The wheels are a little bit larger and they're freer running than those ones on the TC coaches. I think we're fairly happy with that run in there. So I'm going to pop the controls down and we'll follow that around a bit and see if I can get in a little bit tighter and have a look at the valve gear. It's got fluted valve gear. Now it does have a smoke unit in it, but it is disconnected, as we'll see later on. But it's a gorgeous runner. Now it looks like something's been splashed on the coaches. There's sort of marks all over it. And actually, there is marks in that set box as well on the yellow cardboard. But I think they all look to run really nicely. I'll come above this for a moment here. Coal load sitting there. And the roofs are quite mottled as well. So they look like they'll clean up, but even with a sort of good go with the wet wipe, that's about as clean as they come. They're slightly matte, they're not glossy. They've got the ribbed effect on them. But sometimes these roofs are a bit more on the shiny side than this. These are quite matte, so focus having a bit of trouble there. So what I'm going to do is just bring this around back to the station and bring it to a gentle stop. And I think we'll just have a quick look over the items. Let's get out ahead of it. So remember to turn the controller the correct direction. It's definitely seen a fair bit of handling, this model, and if we look down the front here, there is a crack between the buffers there, possibly where it's been sort of over cranked and the securing screw there, and a little bit of sort of heat damage. You can see down the chimney there, it's all sort of whitened. We'll have a glance at that on the inside in a moment. But yeah, that sort of normal sort of effect where people pick it up, it's all sort of greasy. So I haven't over cleaned this. I don't like to sort of over clean things. You end up with potentially sometimes more of a problem than if you just give things a light clean. So it makes a fairly impressive clank. That's a rear truck moving around there. So you've got the slightly fluted rods. The earlier one, I think a couple of videos back, well, more than a couple of videos back, I showed a much earlier version of this with the red cylinder blocks and solid wheels. Has a plain valve gear. I think in many ways, I think I prefer the look of that model. It's the plain valve gear just, I suppose, looks more toy train like for me. I think that's probably an odd way of thinking about it. But there you go. You see that crack there. Let's go underneath it. Have a quick look down here. It's all fairly tidy. So I've just given it a reasonably light clean. And just these things, when they lie in the boxes, they're just, the oil congeals and so on. So it's all best to give it a bit of a freeing up, I suppose. So I'll just have one more look down inside the cab detail there and down either side. So the linings really sort of survived reasonably well. I hadn't noticed that safety valve's beginning to rise up a little bit there. I'll have a look at that in a moment. We'll have a quick look along the side of it again. You can see there is some sort of wear through in the black paintwork on there. I think the other footplate on the other side, I know one of them's got a bit more. There we go. It was the side we were originally looking at. But the inside's fairly tidy. There was a fair bit of oil splatter in there. I've wiped some of it off, but it's quite stained, the plastic work there, so I think we'll leave that alone. We've got Triang's name just sitting in here. I've got Made in England, R50, the original Black Princess number there. You can see the underside of where the chimney is, and it's definitely been affected by heat over time. And again, we saw that crack just in there before. So pop that down, have a quick look at the chassis here. So I think it's seen a fair bit of use over time. I don't think that's an original wire. That blue wire feels like telephone wire. Old telephone cable is fairly thick, but it, as a rule, when these things are doing the job and they're working, I tend to leave them alone. But yeah, that's been disconnected. The tube is missing out of the inside of the smoke unit there, but we never really run these things very quick and get them running smoking enough as it is. And you see the magnet behind the wheel there. So we've definitely got some stick to the track going on with this, so it gets quite a bit of extra pull-in power. So I'll just pop that down, have a quick look over the tender. Again, in nice play-worn condition, although the lining has survived almost intact. There's a sort of a nick out of it there, and the bodywork's taken a bit of a crunch there at some point, I imagine. It doesn't quite sit as square on there as you might think. I don't know whether that's slight distortion in the plastics over time. I don't think this is acetate, but again, the plastic does shift over time, especially these old toys. Again, buffer beam got a little bit of a scrape through the paint there. Flathead screw holding the coupling on, and we've got some writing down in the bottom here. We've got Triang down there, and then R30 and 31, which are the tenders for the black and the green one. This is R34, but I don't think they changed the numbering on it. And then made in England, tucked all the way down there. But these wheels are fairly, nice and free moving. Gave those a little bit of a light clean as well. This is the pair of composites from the set. R321, 1959 to 61 from what I read. You can see those roofs there. You can see the slight mottling I was talking about earlier on. It's quite interesting. We've got two different running numbers on the coaches here. So we've got that one there. You've got 24010 and M24001. So that's quite nice having the two different numbers. Let's pop this down before I drop them. Let's just pick up one of them and have a look over. Apart from the running numbers, I think we're fairly similar. It's not going to grab focus there, is it? There we go. Autofocus misbehaving again. So sort of nice, sort of played with condition. Wheels needed a little bit of a clean up since I had last used them. I've got Triang's name. That underframe was used on a whole bunch of coaches. I think these 9-inch coaches. So these all move quite nice and freely now. I just went around these with a cotton bud and gave them a bit of a clean rather than removing them. So it seems the last time I used them, I seem to have cleaned them up quite well. I'm trying to remember the last time I had these out on the railway. I think it was when I was swapping from the System 6 to this Series 3 and 3 rail. So again, we'll just have a look around that one. No interiors in these ones. So again, really nice, sort of played with condition. That's exactly what we need. So R320 is the brake. We'll just have a look down that one. I've got the slightly different roof detail on this one. You can see that mottling in the roof, and you can see splashes. They've definitely been splashed with something. I don't think it's when they were sitting in the box, or maybe it was. It seems to be, from what I can see, there's marks on both sides of them. So maybe, but the locomotive hasn't. The similar marking is not on the locomotive. So you never know with these things what's happened. Again, wheels really nice. So I think they make quite an impressive set. With the following day now, I've got the locomotive back together and on the rails with the coaches, but I've left a gap there because also recently I've just been sort of semi-renovating this restaurant coach, which I think will go quite nicely with these. So we'll just imagine this is your birthday after receiving the set for Christmas perhaps, and you've got an additional coach. So this one, if you look at the insert picture there, you can see that this coach was definitely played with condition and slightly damaged on the bogie, so I've replaced it. That's one of those CKD type bogie rivets there, which I've put in to hold another bogie. And this bogie also had a little bit of damage, which has been, I think, one of the spars I've re-glued back together. Although right now I can't tell which particular one that is, but we'll put that on. So I think that'll make the rake a little bit more impressive. So I think it would have been a big box to include all four of these coaches, 2 composites and a restaurant. So I think we're R322, similar time period. What was it, 59 to 61? I can't remember the dates now. Let me just look at my notes. Yeah, 59, 61. Because I think the scale length maroon coaches, or the proposed scale length maroon coaches, started coming along in 62 when the Super 4 arrived as well. So just before we get that to run, I did get another couple of catalogues out, just purely because I remembered that this locomotive coming along 59 through to possibly 64, and there are a couple of variants of it made throughout the 60s. It popped up again in the catalogue in 69. Let's just have a look here. So I think this is quite an impressive image here in the 69 book. Let's have a quick glance at the cover. Unusual cover, I always think, that one. So there we've got the Princess Royal locomotive there, R258. I think it's all been sold as one locomotive in tender, all as one at this stage. And it's got with crew as well, look. So that was quite nice to see it back in the catalogue there. But by 1970, so they've sort of slightly changed the locomotive. Still, so we've got 258G here, Princess Royal class locomotive, and they've named it Princess Elizabeth in this instance. Got LMS tender on there, or LMS on the tender, sorry. I think that stayed in the catalogue up until the sort of early 70s, gaining plated wheels. I think we've seen one on the channel before with plated wheels and very, very glossy, with a synchro-smoke unit and alternative names for the. Has it got here? Yeah, this one's actually got alternative names as well. So yeah, quite an impressive looking locomotive in its later guise. So just thought it'd be interesting to see those 2 pictures. So we'll pop the catalogues away. Running out of places to put things at the moment. Actually, they'll go happily under there. So I'm just going to grab the controls. I've left them in an awkward place behind me, so let's give that a little power. What have I picked up? I've picked up the wrong control. Strangely, I thought I was on the other controller, but there we go. Maybe not. See what happens when you put things down overnight and come back. But we've got a derailment, so we haven't railed that one quite as nicely as we could have. Or it just doesn't like being on the rails. Actually, that one's off the rails as well. I just haven't done a very good job of it. Is this one on the rails? Yeah, this one's on the rails. Let's try that again. Let's come back a bit. So we'll just follow that around. Pouring down this afternoon. It's a very sunny start to the day, but sort of typical June weather, really. I'm going to put the controls down and see if we can just follow that. Have a look at these coaches in action. Have a look at the locomotive in action to start with. Yeah, so the restaurant car got the nice seating in there. The window strips have shrunk, as they do in these coaches. I don't know what sort of material they use, but I think that's quite a common thing for them to shrink. Let's come back over here. I'm losing the locomotive completely. Definitely looks like express passenger train-ish now, doesn't it? Tearing along. Now I'm going to grab the controls and we'll see if we can take this onto the outer line where perhaps it can stretch its legs a little bit more. I think we'll just stop it behind the refrigerator cars there. I think I've got this set up all as one railway. So the same control will do this outer line. So change that one. That one's all good. We need to change the crossover here. And let's see what's going to happen. So that's going to come through there onto this side of the station. So for speed, or express train speed, let's not let that happen. Actually, I've got the controls for these points are at the other end here, so I want to change the, I'm looking in the wrong place, so I want to make that straight at that end. And then the one hiding behind the water tower here, we want to go straight as well. So we've got that nice long length of track there to storm to the station. Or perhaps we should be stopping at the station. Still, toy trains, we can do what we like. So let's bring this through here. We'll watch for derailments. We've got the diamond crossing coming up here. Never the smoothest bit of track. I know we said we were going to storm through here, but let's stop while we close the points, because I can guarantee if we start having fun by running too quickly around the railway just for the smile factor, we'll probably forget this point. I'll just close the other one behind me there as well, and I'm going to split it into two railways whilst we're at it, so because then we can get this running as well. So that one. Now I'm really confused as to which controller does what, because yeah, we're still on that one. Not sure why I picked up the wrong one earlier on. So all good. Let's give that some power. Let's see if we can get this one to run nicely by itself, and then we'll see if we can get the TC Pacific underway as well. I suspect this is going to warm up a little as it settles in. All looks quite convincing so far. I have to stand on tiptoes to do this. Whoops, just lost it there. Because when you hold it up that high, I can't see through the back of the camera. It's verging on guesswork. And away it goes. So let's see if I can get this TC Pacific out of the side in here. So we're happy with the Princess storming around there. Let's get this out on the rails. This is going to be a lot noisier. I think I'll just close out these points while we're at it. Princess coming in from the left here. There we go. Now, if I'm clever, I'll put these controls down somewhere where it'll be obvious which one controls which train. There's a little pause there and starting that off as I couldn't work out which one I was going to pick up looking out of the corner of my eye. all sounding quite impressive now. TC Pacific definitely picking up a little pace. I think possibly too much pace. I'm getting worried about those coaches beginning to bounce around. Let's take the edge off that. Bright yellow doors on those coaches. I think these would have stormed around many living room carpets. Princess should be coming from the left here, a little bit further away than I thought. There we go. Storming through the 00 station. TC Pacific coming from behind me now. Let's just swing around there and get that. So I think you could have had both TC items, British items. All looks good in the end. Well, I think as a child you probably wouldn't really have given it too much thought. That really is charging on now, isn't it? I think what we'd better do now is bring one of these to a stop. Whoops. I am just going to stop walking backwards and I'm going to grab these controls. And we'll get the TC Pacific. Whoops, pointing at the floor. I was looking at the train but not the camera. Let's stop that there. Here we go, here's the Princess. So we'll go for a little bit more pace, perhaps. Definitely quite expressish now, isn't it? Calm that down. I can't bring myself to run that into that corner that quickly. So let's just bring this to a stop under this station here. There we go. Now we do have the magnet adhesion on this model. I wonder whether it'll pull these heavy, old, sort of high friction coaches with the open axle boxes up the incline. So I'm just balancing the controls there to see what's going on. So let me open up some points. So hang on a second. Let's open that one. And then we need to make that one go straight there. I just need to check which way around I'm coming up the station here. My preference is to go behind the station to start with. There we go, we need to change that one. So we'll go straight with that. And we'll grab some control. I'm sure we'll be in for some wheel slip. Despite being all relatively well cleaned up, these coaches at the moment, the friction is still pretty severe, I think. Not too bad. So I'm not going to run it at high speed up here. We're going to be quite gentle with it. And we'll just bring this to a stop just above the signal box there. And I keep tripping over this set of boxes here. I've got these boxes out on the floor because they need to go away and I keep walking backwards into them. So just in case you're wondering why I keep sort of stumbling, that's why. So if I change these again, we'll bring this alongside the station. So we'll make that one curved. And I think we'll probably call it a day there. I think there's a fair bit of charging around, definitely brings on the smiles. So I think the train's probably way too long for this little station up here. There we go. Yeah, definitely a little bit on the long side. Maybe we should just bring that down to the other station, just for good measure. I think we should probably do that. It seems silly not to. It's going to tear away coming down the slope, I imagine, and just back off the power a little. Look out for derailment as it comes into this curve. And around it goes. But thanks again for looking in. It's hugely appreciated. If you look back again next time, we'll see if we can have something else from the range to have a look at. Goodbye now.